Welcome back to another video of Overreacting. No booger, I go by the name of Eli. As always, we got Jew with us.
What it do? It's your boy Jew, and we out here overreacting for you. More content, more clips. Make sure you like and subscribe to that. You know what I mean? Get that Patreon. We on there, you heard?
Listen, we got a very special guest in the building with us. Jeff, let them know where they can follow you at.
What's going on? My name is Jeff St. James. You can find me at Ask a Brother Podcast on Instagram and YouTube as well.
You gotta ask a brother too, you know what I'm saying?
For sure. Like, definitely ask this brother. He got the answers. Like, yo, before we get into this video, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, join the Patreon, man. We got the exclusive interview with Jeff coming out on Patreon, early access to those. So make sure y'all join the Patreon, link in the description. This next video I want to play deals with pretty much one of our favorite topics, and it comes down to the diaspora wars. Like, there's two things that's very always circulating. It's always going to generate engagement. It's the gender wars, unfortunately, and the diaspora wars, man. So this first video I want to play, we're going to take a look at it and come back and react to it and give our thoughts.
Why is it that Black Americans hate Africans?
I don't know. Like, from what I've heard, I guess annoyance that they feel like Black Africans come to the country and they're given preferential treatment because there's this sort of belief that, you know, we work harder and we do this, and but therefore we're like the good model minority.
Yeah.
Which in turn makes them look bad.
Yeah.
And that even though, I mean, the FDA and the ADOS lot, they say that they can distinguish who's Black American and who's African.
And I can't.
They say that there's like so many different, like, you know, you can easily distinguish and all that, which I think is a whole load of cap. There may be some truths to it. Like, at the end of the day, we know how white supremacy works, right?
Yeah.
And it does absolutely get off on causing division. That's how it's always been. And it's just unfortunate that people are actually buying into it, but they're mad at the wrong people. I just feel like the energy is completely misdirected. And like, even if those differences are there, 'cause I'm going to give them the benefit of doubt and say that there's some element of truth to that. Who is responsible for that?
We need more honesty about the misinformation that's been put towards both of us, because when we've had this discussion multiple times, it's not often we get Black American honesty about the negative stereotypes they have. I say it, we say it, but they're like, no, we were open arms and welcoming. There was definitely negative stereotypes of immigrant Blacks perpetuated by Black Americans. So you can say that you're welcoming, but were you? And similarly, what was projected into into Africa and the Caribbean about Black Americans. Just be really honest about the propaganda that happened, and then we can get to honest dialogue.
Before they jump into this, I want to address that, because that's a good discussion to have. Now, we're not about to sit up here and pretend like we weren't painted this picture of what Africa was when we were children. We're not going to do that. Every other commercial was for 5 cents a day. You can, you know what I'm saying? All of that type of shit. So, and I could be the first to admit it. Growing up, that's all I thought Africa was, because that's all I saw. There was no internet. I mean, well, there was internet, but there was no, you know what I'm saying? I ain't had no motherfucking computer in my crib. That's for damn sure. There wasn't no smartphones. It wasn't none of that shit. You dig what I'm saying? Like, we didn't have none of that. So all I can go off is what I saw. And then, of course, in school, all they teach you about Africa is fucking slavery. That's it. They don't teach anything else. So I can say, for one, as a child, like a young child, probably up until, I would say my early teenage years or whatever, I used to be that person that believed all of that type of shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's all I knew. I didn't know anything else. But as you get older, as you learn things, as you see what the world really is, you feel what I'm saying? You tend to be like, oh shit. So all of that shit was bullshit. You dig what I'm saying? Now, as far as the statements of Black Americans hating Africans and all of that, I've never seen it. I have never seen it. You know what I'm saying? But that's all I can go off. I can't go off the rest of the world because I don't know. You feel what I'm saying? Shit, one of my best friends, one of my best homies, you know what I'm saying, is from Africa. I grew up with him. He been, you know what I'm saying? He been one of my right-hand mans for a while. You dig what I'm saying? Like, I got a couple homies that's from Africa that I was in the military with. Great brothers. You dig what I'm saying? Like, good homies. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I personally have never experienced that. And I'm not saying that it is. I'm not saying it's a thing. I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it isn't. But from my walk of life, I've never seen it. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I've never seen it. Now, I have seen like people discuss it or say things, and I always had the same thing. Like, it was a confusion for me. Like, I never knew it was a thing. I never heard of it. You feel what I'm saying? So, but I do believe that what the sister said towards the end was correct. We need to, if we are gonna come to the table and have this discussion, then we need to be truthful about what we as Black Americans thought of what Africa was from what we were taught. And then they can do the same thing of what they thought we were because of what they were taught and what they were shown. It's the only way you get past all the bullshit. Put it on the table. Let's talk about it.
I want to ask you a question because she started off by saying that Black Americans, they hate Africans. Do y'all think that's true? And let me start here with Jeff.
There's some truth to it. I do think there's a little bit of hatred on both sides. A lot of it, actually, what the last lady said in the video, I actually agree with.
Right.
Most of it is actually related to propaganda.
Right.
It was intentional propaganda, probably a divide and conquer tactic, in my opinion, where if you're only being shown the worst aspects of what's happening in a particular community, every single community has crime.
Right.
Every single community has depravity, has ratchet stuff and hood stuff and ghetto stuff going on. It's our particular community where that's shown as a representation of all of us. And the same could be somewhat said about Africans as well. Like, if somebody who's actually been to Africa, they see both. If you'll see both extremes, you'll see legitimate luxury, you'll also see legitimate poverty. But if the perception that everybody is living in huts and is poor over there, and over here it's just crime written and there's nothing but baby mama issues, that's the perception that both groups are being shown. So then when they actually come in, they're coming in with the mentality based off the propaganda that's been shown to them.
Facts.
So it takes a while, and I've even seen it. And African friends of mine that I grew up with and went to school with and are friends with now, they told me that their parents told them,
Not to be
based
friends.
off of the things that they were seeing online and on social media and, whatever movies or documentaries were being shown, their perception was, and they said many of their parents back home in Africa was telling them, when you get over there, do not deal with Black Americans. You work with everybody else. They have said it out loud. That doesn't mean all Africans felt that way, and many may perhaps don't, but that was a very lived, real thing. And the model minority thing, again, there's some truth to it. For individuals who've worked in certain professions, if you've been in certain roles, you will see how that foundational Black American is often not treated, talked to, and spoken to the same way as a Black immigrant is from another space and place. They are treated as two tiers or two different types of Black people.
Right.
They do, and people say, well, how can they tell? They can tell because of your accent. They could tell because of your name, just because of potentially how you even potentially dress. That is real. So when Africans specifically come over here and they forget that the propaganda is real, or they don't acknowledge it, and they project only the specific small minority of Black people that are reflecting these things in the culture, and then treat the Black people who have moved and done things in such a way for them to even be in a position to get here as if they're better than us. That's where a lot of that clashing comes from. Now, is she right that there's some Black Americans who have negative stereotypes about Black people from abroad? Absolutely. Sure. I've been to Haiti, I've been to Africa, and I've seen it all. And I went to Haiti, and when I went there on a missions trip, this was post the earthquake, there were people that were there that thought I was Haitian and started talking to me in Creole, and I had to correct them real quick. So they were very welcoming and opening. And there were also ones, because I was with a lot of white people, with these missionaries, they were also like, why are y'all here? Y'all need to leave. So both those things was a real reality for me. I don't take just the negative and project that onto all Haitians. And I think that's the challenge on both sides, is you don't take the minority of people who treat you poorly and say this is a representation of all of them. Because that's the same exact thing that white people or white supremacists or white nationalists tends to do to us.
I don't want to say I don't.
Man, hold up. That nigga was spitting. That brother was chefing, you hear me?
Don't agree with you, but I also think that, like, I don't think Black Americans neglect what the lack of resources or money or everything. I don't understand why Africans feel like we hate them or we, you know, what they see as disrespect is, us making fun of them, right?
Yeah.
But a part of, African American culture, we make fun of everything. You get what I'm saying? So like, I want to know in what ways, and even if we talk about seeing them struggle or whatever, if anything, we are like, we're more sympathetic to what their issues is, where we're being looked at as criminals, killers, thieves. You know what I'm saying? When have you heard African American just say like, "Oh, y'all out there killing each other, y'all out here selling," I haven't heard it. You know what I'm saying? So I think the scales is unbalanced, and I think when they come over here with believing that and already having that mindset, it's just like if you're teaching your kids that subconsciously, that's how they're learning. Like that's like a white person saying like, "Oh, I'm not racist and I got a Black friend," but you're still living the life. Your mother hates when you're with Black people. It's the same thing. You can have a Black friend or whatever, but you deep down, that hate is now being taught to your kids. You got the family. If the family feels that way, best believe, if it's a conversation that you got to have because it's going to be awkward because you got African Americans in your crib, I just think it's unbalanced. Honestly, I don't think that we are appreciate even our history. It's like, oh, I ain't go through all that. Like, it's not that crazy. Like, what, motherfucker, we did. You know what I'm saying? Like, because of us, you guys are here. So I don't know. I don't agree with it fully. I hear what you're saying, but I also feel like it's disingenuous.
It's definitely not even. And I agree with you with that. Another example that lets you know why it's not even is they'll go out of their way to make it known that their parents will not be accepted. So for people who are more familiar with a lot of African tribes and cultures, they'll have real issues if they marry into the wrong tribe. Or if they marry another African from a different country, like that, sometimes that'll be like a Ghanaian marrying somebody that's non, like that's a real thing. And a lot of them will say they may be accepting somebody in a different tribe, but they absolutely will say, but don't bring home a Black American woman.
Damn.
Or don't deal with a Black American man. Like that's a real thing. And then like your point said, it's not really even. It's not really equal because I don't think I've ever heard a foundational Black American ever say don't date an African. Never heard that in the history of my life.
We said we were African American.
And they weren't happy. A lot of them weren't happy with that. So it's definitely not even. But again, both sides are basing it a lot of times on that type of propaganda.
Yeah, what they were told.
And stuff like that. It's just that I think, and you got to think about it this way. What are the caliber and the class of Africans that are able to make the jump to get here? These are not regular urban community poverty Africans, which is the equivalent over here. These are people who are heavy with education, class distinction, making sure that they're putting their child and their children and their families in the best position possible. They don't have nearly as much wiggle room for making mistakes. And the last thing they want their children to do is to be involved in interacting with the group that they're being told is the one that's the huge, that's connected to all the problems in society. Is that a white nationalist supremacist talking point? Yes, it is. But that's really the lens that they're kind of operating from. Now, what changes that
makes sense.
Is a lot of them end up, meaning the kids, they go to school, they start hanging out, we start doing life together, we start going to college together, and a lot of the things their parents warned them about, they start to learn which parts were true, which parts weren't. And you see it in our everyday lives when you're hanging out and growing up with them. They're not their parents, a lot of them.
Right.
They may start out that way, but over time, experientially, their opinions and stuff starts to change.
Now that part I can't agree with. Now, I do not know, like all the African brothers that like I know personally, I don't know what their parents are like. I don't know if they have these beliefs, but I do know they don't like, if they parents are the type that do have those beliefs, I know they don't themselves, because you know what I'm saying? Like I'm good friends with a lot of these brothers, you know what I'm saying? Like, so I've never experienced it. Like I said, I've never experienced it, but just listening to what they're saying, and the brother Jeff with the red hat, he is talking. You know what I'm saying? Like he sound like he know what he's talking about. He sound like he's well traveled. He's, you know what I'm saying, got some education behind him. He articulates well. You feel what I'm saying? So what he's saying does make a lot of sense. You know what I'm saying? And it's not something that you can fault them for, but I do believe it's not something that you could also fault us for either, if they feel that way, because like he stated, and I stated prior to that, we can only go off what we were taught and what we know at the time, because there was no social media, there was no Instagram, there was no Facebook, there was none of this shit. So it's like we can only go off what we were taught and what we saw. Because I guarantee you, anybody that's my age, like I would say between the ages of, I would say, now I can only go back as far as, you know what I'm saying, I'm 39. So I would say anybody that's like, I say at least 30. Let's just stop it at 30. 30 and up, I'm pretty sure we all saw the same commercials. You know what I'm saying? And that's all we saw. We didn't know anything else. All we knew was that, and that our ancestors came from there. That's all we knew. We didn't know shit else. Nobody knew about how fucking rich Africa actually was. Nobody knew about, you know what I'm saying, the actual cultures over there. And all we knew was, you know what I'm saying, our ancestors came from there, and, you know what I'm saying, it's kind of, it looks like a place I don't want to be. That's all we knew. We didn't know until we got older, like, nah, they flourishing over there. You feel what I'm saying? Like, we didn't know that. So I wouldn't fault them. I would not fault them for their beliefs based off of what they were taught. And all I would ask is the same grace on the other side. You feel what I'm saying? That's it.
We had we have several African women on the show, and I remember one of them, she was actually Caribbean in this particular instance, but she did say when she came to America, her parents did sit her down and have that same conversation that you just mentioned.
My parents are both from Grenada. They came here in the 80s and 90s. So what he was saying about how they think that black people are lazy does resonate with me, because I've heard that a lot.
What are some negative stereotypes y'all heard about black America from your parents, from your friends?
You literally said it all.
Yeah.
That's it?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
All
Like my mom would tell me not to marry an African.
Yeah.
Right.
She says it all the time.
Because if you, as an immigrant, come over here and you get that lecture, you know what I mean? You already, before the African booty scratcher and all these jokes that you already have in your mind that the worst of us. You know, you have you got a pep talk. You got a whole pep talk saying, you see those people, stay away from them. Yep. So you already came over here with a skewed perception. You didn't even give us a chance. And now, you know, because you didn't take time to learn our culture or figure out whatever the case is, now you're looking at, you know what, he called me African booty scratcher. My parents is right. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're not understanding the context. And I get that is you know, when we have these diaspora conversations, that African booty scratcher sticks to them. Yeah. Like, you know, they grown ass adults, and I don't want to you know, I want to take away their experience.
Yeah.
Well, it's the colorism too.
Yeah.
Right? If a lot of them are significantly darker shade than a lot of foundational Black Americans, you're coming from another culture. Your parents are telling you one thing. The media and the videos are showing you something different. And then when you come into this space, it's the jokes, it's the comments, it's the colorism. I'm not going to downplay their experience. I'm going to acknowledge that their experience is legit. I just don't think that it's even. I don't think, like you said, I don't think it's a fair trade. Yeah. I think what they've been told about us is substantially worse than what we've been shown about them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And I'm not trying to make light of it like, oh, you guys were hungry. We know they're rich people in Africa as well, you know, powerful people. But they don't even speak on the fact that they look at, you know, African American statistics saying how much crime and everything. They are part of that crime. They don't got, when they point out, you know, Black people killing each other or Black people stealing, they don't say African Americans, Africans, Jamaicans. It just, you're part of that Black statistic. They do crime in America too.
Yeah, that's a fact.
But they ignore that part. It just
even in New York City, I'm thinking about, the gang culture in New York City, and a lot of those the gang is Caribbeans. You know what I'm saying? Like these, but nobody's pointing at nobody's saying all Caribbeans. They in gang culture, we just associate they dark skin, they black, and so when we say black, now we just assume Black Americans. Like, and it's like, yo, you look at them, they might be cosplaying as Black Americans, but when you ask them where they from, they always gonna say some type of Caribbean background or African background. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, you can't differentiate. And I think sometimes when they look at those stats, even the Black immigrants, when they look at these stats, they can't differentiate. They just see Black Americans, crime rate, and they're not really dissecting, okay, what percentage, you talk about in Florida and the Zoes and all that, like that's Haitians. Like, you know what I'm saying? Nobody's saying, damn, Haitians. No, it's like we get labeled as Black and we just automatically under that umbrella.
Hey, I ain't gonna hold you. He 100% right on that. He is 100% right. They don't, anytime they do these statistics, they don't break us down into different categories. They don't say Jamaican or Haitian or fucking Trinidadian or you know what I'm saying? They don't do that. It's just, you look like black. Just what it is. Even some Dominicans. It's some Dominicans that look just like me. You feel what I'm saying? And they would they will put them in the same category. You feel what I'm saying? So you can't just sit up here and just go off. I'm not saying that you can't go off statistics. What I'm saying is all the time these statistics could be skewed a little bit because of situations like that. You feel what I'm saying? You say, oh, Black people are whatever percentage of this. But out of that percentage, what percentage is Caribbean or, you know what I'm saying? Like they don't do that type of shit. So they just lump us all in one group, and then but we take the brunt of that. We take that. Now what I have seen in my lifetime is people say, oh, Black people, blase, blase, blah, and then I'm not Black, I'm Jamaican, or I'm not Black, you know what I'm saying? I have seen that before. The motherfuckers be like, nah, I ain't Black, I'm Haitian. Or, I ain't Black, I'm this, or I ain't Black, I'm that. But then when it comes to these statistics, they lump all of us together. And we gotta bear the brunt of that. You dig what I'm saying? So, but I like these type of conversations. I fuck with these type of conversations because it gets your mind going, and it actually yields a positive outcome most of the time. Because let's just say from this conversation, you get a group of Africans, you get a group of Haitians, you get a group of Jamaicans, you get a group of African Americans, and everybody can come to the table and actually calmly and respectfully, you know what I'm saying, hash out whatever issues they may have. Like, I'm not saying that they all have issues with them, but what I'm saying is the ones that do, bring them to the table. Let's talk about it. You know what I'm saying? We all grown. Let's sit down and have a conversation. You dig what I'm saying? But I'm gonna leave the link in the description for y'all to go check this out. I think it's a great conversation, and I'm pretty sure there's a longer version. There's a more drawn out version, but like I said, I'm gonna drop the link in the description. Y'all can go check that out. And before you go, you already know I need you to like, comment, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell, all that good jazz, man. I'll catch you on the next one. Bow.